well, Michael. I guess extended time off, a bunch of the girls away. Just how much work have you actually been able to do during the break? Do you feel as though you've been able to do enough to have made it a productive time off?
Yeah, definitely. I think we had 10 players away in and amongst Matilda's, the New Zealand national team, and then obviously under 20s, under 17s, Aussie teams. So we had 10 players away, which left us about 10 players training because there's a couple of players still recovering from injury. But we were really able to work on certain concepts that we need to improve more individually than collectively. And the beauty about this international break is that the players, apart from Holly, that's with the Matildas, everyone's been here for this full week. So we've had 3 training sessions so far, another one today and one tomorrow, that we can really make sure in a team aspect we're ready to take on Canberra.
And of course, the big selection news, I guess, is that you get Laura Hughes back. How excited is she to be back? And I guess what sort of role can she play for you? Do you need to ease her in, or does this extended international break mean she's pretty much ready to go straight from the get-go?
Not ready from the get-go. She's still got a couple of trainings that she needs to get through, but otherwise she's looking really good, really strong, and she can be a really good option, at least for Sunday, off the bench for us.
Because I know we spoke previously about when you get Leah back, when you get Laura back, you felt that a lot of some of collective issues that maybe you'd encountered would be solved just by their presence. So I guess excited to be really assembling your first choice midfield again.
Yeah, definitely. And since then, obviously we, excuse me, have been doing a lot of work with Shelby in their defensive principles, Letitia in her defensive principles. So they're actually at a very good level, which is added to their game. So now there's, 3 or 4 of them fighting for those few positions, which gives me some nice headaches to have.
So without Holly leading the line, which, yes, you've had to deal with that at times throughout your tenure, but you've got to deal with it once again on this weekend. How do you address it?
Look, I think you made the point. I think over the last season and this season, I would say she's probably played around that 50% of match minutes. So we've dealt without her really well, but obviously she's a very good player and we'd rather her in the side. But nothing really changes. Different players have different strengths, so we may play slightly different. But otherwise, in terms of shape and how we're trying to do things, very, very similar.
And it's a huge game in the context of the season. I mean, jumping straight back into it after the break, second placed Canberra United. What sort of game are you expecting out of them?
Well, first of all, I think this is the business end of the season. This is the exciting part. This is, where the big players and in the big moments, we need to step up. They've been very consistent in how they've played throughout the course of the season, very aggressive on the front foot, taking a lot of risks. So we're aware of that. We're looking forward to the challenge.
They too, without their talisman for this game, Michelle keeping Holly company with the Matildas. How do you expect them to adjust, and what do you expect them to throw at you in lieu of Heyman's presence?
Well, I think similar to us, we don't really have a striker that has the same attributes as Holly, and I think they don't have a striker with the same attributes as Michelle. So I'm not sure what they're going to do, but what I do know is that they'll probably stick to a similar philosophy of a lot of players roaming, one player dropping, one player running in behind. They probably don't have the physicality of what Heyman brings as well. But in terms of dropping in, linking, making runs in behind, I think that sort of idea is probably going to be the same.
Because we look at the ladder, and there was a brief period before the break, a couple of weeks, wherein destiny wasn't in your hands. Wellington had a game in hand on you. If they won out, they would have gone top. recent results, however, mean that destiny is once again back in your hands. You win out, you win the premiership. Is that something that you have emphasised to the playing group, that once again they control their own fate and it's on them, and if they play at their best, you win the plate no matter what?
No, we don't talk about the end goal. We talk about what's next, as I've said 100 times. So we know that, and it's for me, it's not something that we need to bring up. So we're, technically, if other teams win their catch-up games, we're 1 point clear. And like you said, if we win all 4 of our remaining games, we'll be the premiers. But no, it's nothing that I really discuss. So we're just really focused on the things that we're trying to improve, which I showed in the meeting this morning. And we're going to go out in the next hour and train it. And then we'll review that for tomorrow. And then we make sure we're ready for Sunday. And then again, we review that, get ready for Adelaide, and so on and so on. So all we can control is how we prepare tactically, mentally, for the challenges and the teams that are coming up against. And we try and put our best foot forward to win the match. And if it's a win, we keep moving forward. If it's not, we keep learning and keep trying to improve.
Will you ever bring up like those sort of ramblers? So say it's April 4 and you need to beat Newcastle the next day to win the plate. Will you mention it then?
No. I think for me personally, I think it's unnecessary. Everyone knows it. I don't think by me saying it is going to make it we're not going to make the players more calm. If anything, I think the more you actually talk about the end goal or something that you're not good at, and you really emphasize on, we need to be better at this, or we need to work harder, or we need to do that, I think it just heightens anxiety around that sort of topic that you're trying to get an outcome on. I think for me is all about identifying what it might be and then having the solutions and working towards that, because that's what we can control.
Because when we look at the slate of games you've got coming up, you've had this extended period off, then you get second place Canberra on Sunday, and then you get third place Adelaide on Wednesday. So you've gone from this extended time off to a really tight, really short turnaround. How do you manage that?
We take it one game at a time. I know it's cliche, but we've put in a really good body of work over this last couple of months. And this last 2 weeks, we've been able to really sharpen the players up that needed it to be able to run out both of those games in those 3 days. But we give everything for Canberra, and then we see, as always, who recovers best. And then we get ready for the Wednesday when that comes. But I think we're in a really good space. And I think getting a player like Laura Hughes back, our squad depth is good. I've got still a lot of headaches to be able to select the starting lineup. And the freshest, best players in performance are going to play.
Yeah, Laura, she's not ready to go from the off against Canberra. Maybe Adelaide, is she in contention to start, or are you looking at more her for the Wanderers and Jets games?
It's hard to say, but I think if she gets a good solid hit out on Sunday, then potentially it's either or a start. It wouldn't be both of them to be able to back up and start. So we either then decide to play her 60-70 against Adelaide, or off the bench again against Adelaide, and then potentially the opportunity to start against the Wanderers.
And it was remiss of me not asking earlier, but with all those players that were, I guess, out of your sight and were away with their national teams, have any of them come back maybe still able to play, but with any knocks or anything that need managing?
Yeah, we had a couple come back with niggles, but they've been managed throughout the last 3 or 4 days. And everyone's training basically 100% today. So by tomorrow, I'll know exactly who can start or who might need to be monitored minutes. But as it stands, everyone's fit to play.
Who were the couple that came back with niggles?
I'd probably rather not say. But good question. Good question.